Dear sisters and brothers, this is the broadcast for the 29th of August 2022, but it covers a period starting from 25th of August. So it is a special period where you have very high energy. Probably you felt already the frequency. I kept receiving emails throughout these days, and it seems that everybody is aware or quasi-aware of something is going on. But let's name it. This is a transition period that is coming towards the Earth because we are going to have a transition that either brings us to a higher level of humanity, or it brings about a more higher education programs, heavy programs of evolution. We have two directions to choose from. So it's a transition primarily dominated by emotions. It is a moon-derived period. Everybody is going to talk about moon so frequently, and there is a program, Artemis first, which is going to be replacing the Apollo programs that is heading up to the moon. So after 50 years, the humanity is going to the moon, back to the moon, let's say. But today, the launch was cancelled because of a technical problem. So it's going to be probably the 2nd of September. Hopefully. So it's very important because Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo, and the moon is a female planet with emotional energy, they say. So it is perhaps better if Artemis goes to the moon instead of Apollo. And we have a first woman going to the moon. And it is going to be very happy because a female period is starting. I don't know how to say it because it's hard to say in a man-dominated world, but we need female energy, divine female energy, if we want to transition to a higher level of humanity. Because we have to make use of our emotions. As I always say, being emotional is not what I'm talking about. It is the emotional body that collects the records and the registries so that we evolve. We evolve through our feelings. Love, hate, admiring something, envy, greed, these are all feelings, emotions. So, and we have a new moon we had a new moon actually in 27th of August. And the new moons are good for startups. And the moon had a conjunction with the sun. It was in Virgo. And it was squaring Mars actually in Gemini. And we had to be careful. And still, this period goes on until the first week of September. We have to balance between thinking and speaking, okay, because moon in Virgo, okay, we think, we get into emotion, but with Mars in Gemini, we try to speak a lot. So we need to be finding a balance between them. And this period is very important in terms of maintaining the balance, because the 25th of August was the blue galactic storm, according to the time law of time. And the blue galactic storm, a blue storm always cleanses things. I mean, it makes things pure, and a storm takes all away the dirt, the impurities, the residuals that shouldn't be there if you want to proceed to the higher level. And the device, the spacecraft that takes the Artemis moon program, launch program back to the moon, is called Orion. And Orion is taking the humanity to the moon. Looks like that, and it's not a coincidence that this name appears, because in the book of the Great Power of Metin Tanergin, we come across with a section saying that the spacecraft Orion is a sign that is showing us to the transition towards the next generation of humanity. This is the seventh generation of humanity in the seventh slice of time. We are going to be living in that time as a human being, and it is going to be taking about 30 years until we see the starting up of this transition to this new generation. We don't see it yet with our eyes, but we feel a change is happening. We are either very aggressive because of this energy, or very depressive, or we think something is changing, but we don't understand, and we are a little bit panicking because something is changing and we don't understand it. We have different emotions these days. We remember the past, we revisit the painful situations of the past. We try to close the unwanted situations, the traumas of the past. We try to reason them and find a new way towards the future without repeating the past. So it is a blue galactic storm actually taking place within ourselves as well. And today is called the Blue Crystal Night. Crystal is a very reflective device, so we have to dream, we have to reflect today and tonight. And I think it was not coincidence that today was chosen for the launch of Artemis program to the moon, but it didn't take place. Unfortunately, it was delayed of a technical problem. But I think conceptually it is very important to go back to the moon. Why didn't we go back to the moon during this 50 years? Because it was not allowed to do so. It is said that there is a more advanced galactic race, human race, operating on the moon. There are songs about the dark side of the moon, for example, for Pink Floyd, or some others are also present. So there are mysteries about this unseen side of the moon, and we know through some channel information that there is already someone living there. We will all hear more and more about the moon these days, in the coming up days. And the month we are in, according to the law of time, is called the lunar moon. So nothing is coincidence. Everything's about synchronicities. And I want to read the affirmations of these 2 days, the 25th of August, the Blue Galactic Storm. I harmonize in order to catalyze modeling energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the galactic tone of integrity. I'm guided by the power of abundance. So if we end up living a superhumanity days or platform, we will be in abundance. But if not, it's going to be hard. And the affirmation for today, 29th of August, it is the Blue Crystal Night. I dedicate in order to dream, universalizing intuition. I seal the input of abundance with the crystal tone of cooperation. I'm guided by the power of vision. So what we need is to think about what's going on these days. Are we sufficient enough in terms of capabilities and thinking, thought generation, or codes of consciousness to become the superhuman? Do you see yourself as a superhuman being? It is the superhumanity system, and we have to be there someday. If we think about it as soon as possible, and recalibrate ourselves according to the requirement of such a human platform, which can be called a superhumanity. And we are the ones that are going to design it. Nobody's going to come from space and design it. But we know we have some channel information about the population living on the moon surface, and reflecting the influences of the mechanism of influences towards the Earth, so that the humanity can be raised sooner. So let's grab these frequencies, grab these energies, pull them with our thoughts, and let's purify ourselves so that we can be channeled as a universal channel, pulling the energy from the moon or from the mechanism of influences, and then downloading on it to the earth and onto the humanity, so that whoever can pull this can be a vehicle, can be a channel for others to be raised. And in the knowledge book, there is a statement, look up to the space and what can be behind those millions of stars over there? What type of a system can be there? Who could have designed such a marvelous system and mechanism? So we're just crossing over to the moon, maybe. It's a small step. But one day, this superhumanity is going to be an intergalactic race and multi-planet, multi-universal race, and we will be everywhere. And some races who have been graduated before us, either from this planet Earth or from other planets, are already there. So it is now our turn to be graduated. We're not going to be the first ones, and we're not going to be the last ones. But we will be evolving into a superhumanity, which is possible. And it will come no matter what we individuals do. It will come sooner or later, but it will come. This is what I try to say. So let's make it sooner. Thank you for listening, and I hope I didn't miss any information around that. You may send me questions. You can email to me or write underneath this broadcast so that I can answer them. And I appreciate if you could share it with your friends, if you like the broadcast, of course. Take care.